Hey, what's up? Video request time. Whee! I didn't get one for a while. So somebody gave me a video request a couple days ago. What do I think about Conor McGregor? That's a random ass video request. Okay, so Conor McGregor, he's like a MMA fighter. And he's like, what do you think about Conor McGregor and all of his antics? All of his like pompous antics. So I guess, oh yeah, because I know, and that, so yeah, and Conor McGregor, he's an MMA fighter, and I've seen him on YouTube. Like he's on like commercials. So I'm on a commercial on YouTube, and so I guess he's like the number one guy of one of the divisions, skinny guy division, and uh, and so what do you think about his antics? Like, so it's like, what do you think about his people doing that attitude thing, that Muhammad Ali thing? Because I saw in one of the pictures in the video, he had one of those like white jackets on, like with the fur, like fur jacket. Those things look cool, You should definitely make it clear though that it's a synthetic. But anyway, yeah. So what do I think about that now? Yeah, at first I was like, weird video, but then I was like, wait, no, actually, I'm the most appropriate person to ask because I'm the godfather of MMA. You can watch the video of why I am. It's because of the fight suit. It's not because I'm a fighter myself. I don't know anything about fighting. Although, and I'm not going to know anything about fighting for a long ass time. But one of these days, I do want to study it because I have to do it for the science of the fight suit. And I got the idea, just to talk really quickly, I got the idea for the fight suit when I saw Ronda Rousey get kicked in the head and knocked out, and I was like, this isn't natural, this isn't good, this is like gladiator games in Rome, we need to like step up, become more civilized. So what we need to do is we need to get all those UFC fighters, to fight with fight suits on so they can get kicked in the head and they don't get knocked out, The little light comes on and says you lose and then the game's over and you can go and fight again, Like these UFC fighters, they fight, then they can only do a couple fights a year because I guess you get hurt and then you have to get better. Well, that's barbaric. Why not just wear a suit and then you can do five fights a day, And because that's what fighting is all about. It's kind of like racing, It's like pitting things together and seeing what happens, So, so yeah. So, anyways, Conor McGregor would probably be the best person to help me, take the sport to the next level. Because that's what we always need to be doing, taking a stand. Since I'm the Godfather, I have the best idea. So what it is, I'm calling Conor McGregor out. I'm gonna kick your fucking ass, boy. And this is what's gonna happen. We're gonna do it with the fight suit. We're gonna do a fight with the fight suit. And after I beat you with the fight suit, what it's gonna do is it's gonna make all of these people believe that they can do it too. Like if the fat stoner guy can just up and defeat like the star, then you can help it become mainstream. It's kind of like a David Goliath type of a thing, and so let me show you how it'll happen. The whole mechanics of it. What you do is see the reason that I am interested in fighting. I've become interested in fighting. Just the mechanics of it is because of history. I'm a historian. And if you study history, one of the big things is the battles and the wars. And if you're going to get into study it a lot, you want to get into the details of it and the battles and wars between the people and then the gladiator stuff and like how exactly did they use the net? You had the netmen and then you had the spearmen and then the swordsmen and how did all this stuff work mechanically? And the best way to figure it out is to test from, I guess you could even do fight suit weapon style, but yeah, so. But a lot of the times fighting in history, it's not as cut and dry as gladiator stuff. It's like Mickey Mouse, watered down, not really all that realistic. The way real fighting is people have to march and then they fight. Like the Gauls, they marched all the way down from France and then they stood outside the gate of Rome, and then they broke in and fought, So you're not always at 100%, when you're fighting. It's kind of like bicycle racing, like in the Tour de France. Those guys sprint and then it all comes down to the final 45-minute climb, but they're all tired, so it's like who has the most left, That's why they have teammates who would help draft off of them, bring them water and stuff to help conserve their energy. So it's kind of like that. And Livy, and I don't know what part of the book though, but Livy, who wrote the history of Rome from like 1400 BC to 0, or like 100 BC or whatever, says that he mentioned, I don't remember what part, but he mentioned that the Gauls, they come down, and I think it was the part where they sacked Rome in 396 BC, but he's like the Gauls come down, and like he'd say they're normally really good fighters, they're better fighters, and Julius Caesar mentions this a lot because they're really big and strong and muscular, but he said that they were really bad endurance athletes though, like when they would run across the countryside all the way down from Gaul, by the time they got to Italy, Roman women could kick their ass. So that's the kind of fighting that a lot of the battles had. Like especially battles where I don't know where a lot of armies lost. Maybe they could have won, and they lost because they were tired. But maybe they could have won if they were a little bit stronger. So. Yeah, and also with scouting skirmishes, there's usually a skirmish before the battle, and those are from the scouts, and they're tired by the time they get there. And so what we do is we recreate history. Okay, so what you do is we recreate a sacred journey from the outer territories into the enemy territory, and then once we're deep into enemy territory at the enemy's wall, that's where we fight. And see, that's where I'm going to have the advantage because by that time I'll be an endurance athlete. Like at the beginning of January 1st, 2018, that's when I'll start becoming like ultra endurance mountain biker, like runner, triathlete stuff person. And then after 2 years of that, I'll be like at my maximum, and then I'll train for a year after that part time just to study the fighting technique, and I guess upper body work, and then we do the battle. And so what we do is we run 100 miles or something like that. Yeah, we run like 100 miles across the mountaintop. Yeah, we run from Lake Dillon all the way across the mountaintop all the way into Boulder or something like that. So we run for like 24 hours or whatever, and then we have the fight. And so that's where I'll have the advantage, and we do it with a fight suit. That's the thing. You do it with a fight suit. So, but by then that'll be enough years in the future that they probably will have the fight suit and like created in some rudimentary way. So that way nobody has to get hurt, but I could probably win because like you'll hit me, and then you'll get this big you'll try to do one of your fancy judo moves, but you'll need your lats, and your lat will like seize up on you and cramp from all of the, you've lost all of your glycogen in there. So, but I'll be used to it. So I'll just be like, tie you up like a pretzel, and then everybody will want to fucking become a fighter. You can mainstream it, and then you can get the fight suit down to an affordable level. Down to bicycles are like $6,000. There's no way somebody can afford a bike. The only people who can afford the bike would be the army, ride their bicycles in to kill towel heads in the Middle East. But normal people can't afford a $6,000 bike. So, but if once you make bicycling mainstream, they're just plastic. You could like have the factory build them, and everybody could afford a $6,000 bike. Well, why not with a fight suit? It's just a shell. It's just a plastic shell, And if you mass produce them, and everybody could have one in their closet. It could be like something that people do at parties. Some drunk guy could be like, "Oh, fuck anybody up." Anyway, I talked about this in my video, but yeah, I mean, as somebody who's flamboyant like that, I don't know. Maybe there's a chance that flamboyance, there's a part of their brain and that flamboyance part that actually, or I'm sorry, I don't want to be like a dick, that has like the seed of something else. Woo! And let's cause the revolution, and then flamboyance. The problem is though with fighters is, I think one reason that they don't fight again for the rest of the year is because like they hate losing. And so that's the problem. If you're not fighting all the time, then you become scared of losing. But if you're fighting like 5 fights a day, why would you be scared of losing? All you're doing, you're just a fighter. It doesn't matter if you win or lose, especially if you have the fight suit and you're not even getting hurt in the first place. So yeah, it might be something that Conor McGregor might take up. The problem is he'd have to be active by the time I get around to doing it, which would be like 5 or 10 years more. And a lot of times people kind of like they get out of shape, and then so I might have to go after the next generation. But hell, somebody gave me the request, and so like what would I, as the godfather of the MMA, say to Conor McGregor and all of his flamboyancy? That's what I would say. So cool, interesting request. Okay, peace out.